this is Tiger/2nd. Today, Games Workshop released the first highlights of the new Dark Eldar Codex in 8th edition. In light of the incoming releases, I'm going to attempt to produce a few short videos to summarize what I think could mean for the faction, perhaps the game at large, starting with this one today. Whether or not I'll get to one for every single release is yet to be determined, partially by my work schedule and partially by just how much I care about the individual release, but this is the plan going forward. Most of today's release was your standard fare, advertising the Codex in 2 editions, one expensive and one ludicrously expensive, as well as the data cards and a new start collecting box, which we've come to expect. The latter of which is important because of one major highlight from the release in terms of army functionality. The Dark Eldar have been split into 3 separate factions: the Cabals, the Homunculus Covens, and the Witch Cults. This was something I've long suspected since the index came out, and it should come as no surprise after seeing how the army has been constructed. Off the cuff, I would suspect this would produce a lack of synergy, as it seems to do with our index-based army. However, recent tournament placings have shown that soup armies, especially of the Eldar variety, can do very well. There is another angle to consider, though, as rumors regarding the new FAQ, which is supposed to drop sometime this month, indicate that soup armies will be receiving some sort of a change, possibly a nerf, although what this could be and how it will impact the Dark Eldar can only be speculated on. It is my guess that the Dark Eldar faction will probably have some mitigation towards this nerf when bringing everything from within the Dark Eldar faction, or will otherwise have some bonuses or allowances for being run as a single faction. Otherwise, players will merely pick the best of the 3 sub-factions and run that, making 2/3 of the army essentially useless. And God only knows what will happen to the unaligned models such as Incubi and Scourges. Lastly, regarding the Start Collecting box, it is entirely comprised of Witch Cult models, with the assurance that all these models will be drastically improved in the Codex. Start Collecting boxes were created as, and continue to be, a method for the company to move product on a model kit that is clogging up their warehouses. With the Eldar, it was the Fire Prism, which was paired with the popular Wind Riders and Farseer on a jet bike. In 8th edition is the Wraith Lord, with the dependable sellers of a Farseer and Wraithguard. For the Dark Eldar, the slow-moving unit is the Reavers in 7th edition, the Reavers and Hellions both in the Gangs of Kamara box, and Reavers again now. Reavers are $5 to $10 overpriced and not very good in 8th edition, so they are being pushed hard by Games Workshop. In terms of purchasing power, this box set seems to fall short of the previous one, especially considering the purchasing power of those Reavers is so low if you get the Gangs of Kamara box set. It drops their real value to something like $15 a kit. Personally, I would just buy a couple of those game boxes instead of this Start Collecting box, as they are a fantastic deal, and just maybe buy an HQ or 2 off of eBay to round out your forces. Going forward, it's going to be a matter of 2 factors to see how the Dark Eldar army performs overall. That is, how things will synergize and how the new FAQ will affect taking multiple factions together. But in the meantime, this is all up in